Here's another question I never asked you. You know, now that we're talking and I'm more comfortable speaking to you because you're a friend now. You've been on
Mhm.
several times, so we always keep in touch.
No, thank you.
You don't have to uh, say names or details,
Mhm.
but the first time you did have to, kill somebody,
Mhm.
what was it like? What's the
Well,
emotional breakdown?
let me tell you exactly how it happens. And I've said this several times, like probably on your show. And the best way to explain it is they take you along in baby steps.
Mhm.
They, there's a myth that you got to kill your best friend. That's not going to be a first hit. I promise you.
Right, right,
Okay, I promise you that they're not going to come to me and put me in that position at 19 years old. But they will tell me that Greg's daughter was nearly raped and we got to go beat the shit out of this guy.
ah,
I got no problem with that. I go
they
with Greg.
justify it.
We beat him half to death. Now he wasn't happy, Greg. So he decided we're going to kill this guy.
Mhm.
And he got the permission from the family, which is a whole nother story because he doesn't always go for permission. He only asks when he knows they can't turn him down. So he
Yeah,
puts it
okay.
on record. That's how sharp he was. So, but they said, but Larry and Gregory, well Gregory first, or Larry, whatever, can't be on it. It's too personal.
Mm,
But Greg put us on it anyway because he knew that was a good one for me to uh, to learn.
okay.
Like we don't always do it for money, or we don't. This is a family thing, a personal family. This is my daughter. How am I going
Mhm.
to say no? Even if I
Right.
was afraid to go, which I wasn't, because if it was my sister, I'd want to go too. You know.
Mhm.
So those doubt. That's how it is. Then eventually, he tells you drive him somewhere. I drive him, and I hear gunshots. He comes out. I can't question it. I know he just went and shot somebody. I know it.
Right.
But what am I going to say, Greg? What you doing? Like I'm scared, so drive back. I keep my mouth shut. So, but that being said, when you have to do it, I don't care who you are. Well, I shouldn't say that because there are some. I guess there are. I don't know how he was on his first hit.
Right.
What would you think, Greg? Greg Scott on his first hit when he was 16 or 17. I don't know. Did he have that? I think he had ice in his veins then. You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't grow up that way. I grew up knowing that it's one of the Ten Commandments, and you shouldn't do it.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
uh, so I was, it's a nerve wracking thing. You have some sleepless nights, especially if it wasn't something like Little Linda. That situation, if it was because the guy was selling drugs, we got to clip him,
Mm.
or the guy disrespected some wise guy in another place, or he raised his hands to him. Let's say that, or he killed him, like Tony Frezza was one of the hits we had to do. Dear
Right.
friend. Now this was a friend. He was one of us, but he shot Joe D'Angelo, who had the uh, tallies on 18th Avenue.
Oh wow. Okay.
That was our
Yeah.
guy that did it. So there was a big meeting. Scappy went to the meeting to talk. He sat with Paul Castellano, and he came back to the club. I'll never forget it. It's in my book because to me it's a chilling thing. And I'm a kid. We're waiting on pins and needles for the verdict, knowing it's hard for him to win because the guy killed a good fella.
Mm.
He comes in, he says, gentlemen, that's how he walked in. I got good news and I got bad news. The
Now,
bad
who
news
said
is
this? Greg?
Scappy. Scappy.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
He says, the good news, the bad news is Tony's got to go. He says, the good news is we get to do it.
Okay.
Where's the good news in that? We got to kill our own friend.
Yeah. Right.
So that was tough. Now, digging the grave, knowing who's going in that,
Ugh.
and then picking him up at the airport, telling him everything's okay. Scappy, he really went to bat for you. He put his life on the line. You're going to have to come in and apologize and make restitution. And before the whole spiel came out, we're going down the driveway where he gets shot.
Right.
And
Right.
so it's not, the war was simple for me,
Right.
and when I was telling my story to Terry Winter, he couldn't believe the two different Larrys. And I didn't even realize it myself. When I was
Right.
talking about my youth and my family, I come to tears sometimes. I can't understand how I did this to them.
Right. Right.
But when
Yeah.
I got
Sure.
to the war, I was cold hearted. He said he was going to kill me, so we made him number one. The next day we got him, and I blasted his fucking brains out. You
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
and I don't curse that much, but
That's
this is what
okay.
I But no, I don't like to curse. I try not to, and it's just not that impressive. But I was, you know, the way he was asking me these questions, you know, I think he wanted to see some, you know, something, you know, and he saw the two different Larrys. The war, I was self-defense. I mean, I was, you know, it was kill or be killed. So by then I was seasoned. I already did some work. So I understood the act. And I talk about that a lot too now. This is something that is a first for you too. I did it on a TV show not too long ago that's going to be coming out. It was with a psychiatrist asking me these questions. And first thing I told, I said, you know, I don't know if Sigmund Freud could answer that. How you can go from the youth I had to being able to pull a trigger and kill somebody. Right, I mean, I get it. I get the question. And I told her, I said, it doesn't happen overnight. I said, but let me ask you this. If I was in the Army or the Marines or Navy SEALs, which if I was in the military, I'd be one of those elite. I would work my way. I would want to be them. That's me. I would want to be up there. And let's say I mean, or became a marksman shooter. I stood in the trees clipping guys. I said I'd probably have more bodies than Greg.
Right.
All right. And then it would be okay. I said, so you're talking about the act or the reason? I could never justify the reasons because we're doing it not for noble, sometimes for business, to move up the ladder because our boss told us to. I get that. But if I did it for the Army, then you'd say, oh, I'm an 18-year-old kid, 19 years old.
Then you're a hero.
I'm okay. It's okay that I'm shooting people. Now, we said the 10 Commandments. I told her this. Didn't say, thou shalt not kill except during war. Thou shalt not kill except in self-defense. Those are all man-made decisions.
Right.
So, again, there's a time and place to kill, I guess. And I was able to do it. There's kids in the Army that shoot up in the air because they can't shoot a person. I just read a book on it that said 90% reluctant to pull the trigger. They don't want to get it, you know, that high. They don't want to shoot, you know, and then you get those 10%, they become elite guys leading the way, whatever.
Right.
So is it the act or the reason I did it? If you ask me the reasons I did it up until the war, I can't justify any of them. I'm ashamed of myself for doing it, for getting myself in that position, because you can't say no at some point. Now you're in, you know. But if I was in the Army and I had 200 bodies, then that would be okay. It's still I'm killing people. I'm killing somebody. So that's the fine line to me.
Okay. All right. Final question, right? And it's the same topic. I had watched John Elite on Soft White Underbelly, and he had explained how he, after having to murder and so on and so forth, he had to sleepless nights, anxiety, he had to go on medication, so on and so forth. Did you go through the same kind of thing?
Absolutely. I still have some bad dreams. I still wake up sometimes with, you know, I hate, like, one of them is one that was during the war. The last one I had was Nicky Black. I'm going down Avenue U, and he comes walking out of his club like that picture where his face is blown off and all that, and he's like still alive.
Really? Wow.
It's a weird dream. I mean, I had dreams where somebody was coming to hurt me, kill me, but I was able to get the gun from him, and he's running away, and I'm shooting at him. This is weird. And I miss him. I hit a little paper bag next to him, and I wound up seeing a little cat come crawling out that I shot the cat. I couldn't go back to sleep. I was sick over that. So you have these crazy, because you know, any person with a heart and truly a decent guy inside, even though, you know, you can never get over those things. So I understand what Johnny's talking about.
Right. Well, Larry, listen, man, it's always a pleasure. Always much love, much respect. And The Life, your book, obviously, you can purchase it on your website if anybody wants to watch it.
www.larrymazza-thelife.com.
That will also be in the description.
That goes out.
Okay, great. Yes, I still have yours that you sent me. Again, I'm really happy that you had. No, definitely, it never is.
I'll see you again.
All right, Larry, thank you very much.
You don't have to keep thanking me. I appreciate it. I thank you.
Okay, you got it.
I'll see you soon.
Definitely.